Okay, we've successfully plumbed the hot and cold water to the apartment that I'm renovating for right now. So here you can see the cold manifold on my left, with two different circuits for either apartment, and the hot manifold on my right with two different circuits, one for either apartment. 5 cold water connections and 4 hot water connections because the toilet doesn't need hot water. And I'm sorry, here I'm trying to figure out plumbing appropriately. We routed everything, grouped together for the most part. Everything goes. Don't this run that just is hanging in space here, and what else? This one that's just hanging in space here. Those still go to copper right here. That is the other apartment. This is just a cluster in here. So we've lost a ton of copper, but I don't want to distract from the organized pecs to the sloppy pecs that I just threw in here when I first moved in here. But for the most part, this whole area is looking a lot cleaner. And we're gonna pull this faux ceiling. I could just continue taking more and more of this drop ceiling out of here. It's like 2 layers of drywall. It must have been for fire code, somebody thought, being a ceiling, and it's 2 5/8 layers. Look at that. It's over 1 inch thick. It's like 1.25 inches thick. It's nuts. And heavy. So the reason I bring that up is because this here is looking a lot cleaner, but the 2x4s that are hanging over there, they're going to be gone eventually. That ceiling's going to be gone eventually. Everything's going to be above the ceiling joists eventually, and the gas supply, and it'll just be these few traps and drains, and the drains, the larger diameter stuff, that's going to go away eventually too. This leg entirely, because that other apartment is the apartment number 3, and I'm going to gut that, and there will be no bathroom over here, so that can disappear at that time. So in stages, we're going to make more and more progress here, but in the end of this project, not only will apartment 4 be renovated, but I think for the most part this ceiling is going to go up, even if it means just relocating the drop ceiling another foot up or so. That's going to be a huge improvement. So we're still hanging out here with this jack arrangement. I went up to where I want to be, but it'll have to wait until I get all this drywall down, and then I can make structural, and also get the rest of the copper lines out. So the order of operations is, I picked up the floor to where I want it, and I got that apartment number 4 plumbing renovated while nobody's depending on it right now. Now we're going to go back to work upstairs on it. And then when I get it all done, once I can get somebody moved in, I can commit my tools and time to taking this piece of ceiling down and shutting off the other apartment when those guys are at work, and converting their systems to PEX and jumping it in here, and then and then making structural repairs to the floor, and at which time I can take this jack arrangement out of there. But I'm just going to live around this for a few weeks and leave most of that up for a few weeks, because it just means I have to move all my stuff out of here, and I don't have anywhere to really go, because the shop is like Grand Central Station right now with everything that I have going on. So anyway, we're working in stages here. We got everybody set up on manifolds for now, which means that for any reason, if I ever need to shut down one whole place, I could just go up and turn 2 valves off. And then our next video will be back upstairs working on mocking up the sinks and mocking up the tables and mocking up wall patches, and starting to get a real sense of the space, aesthetically speaking, and we're out of the dirty. Oh, I take that back. There's one more thing we're going to feature, which is draining. We've got the vessel sink tailpiece into a nice metal P-trap, so it's kind of pretty when you open up the vanity, right to PVC inside the wall, and we're going to run to PVC right down and over here, and then we've got to jump back into galvanized or black pipe, which has been soldered into the cast iron drain. That was where I made the toilet repair before. We're going to turn out that little hacked off threaded stub of black pipe that goes into a T, and we're going to jump into we're going to thread in PVC to sweat, PVC or socket weld PVC, and then we'll run up to the sink or up to the wall behind the sink with PVC, and then like I said, we'll jump into the P-trap and go up and through the sink. And we've got to obviously modify that cabinet because it was never supposed to be a sink base, so check that out soon. Then we'll be talking aesthetics and pretty stuff.